Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to ask the question, is Daggerheart a game? What? That's a strange question, Scott. Of course Daggerheart is a game. It's labeled as a game. What else would it possibly be? Instead of being a game, it could quite possibly be a human improvement engine, right? Designed, disguised as a game, but it is specifically built to fix every single human being at the table, the game master, and all 5 of the players. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. Thank you for your patience there. All right. Wait a second, Scott. That sounds really strange. You're not wrong. That's it's odd. It's definitely odd, right? And the reason why is, hey, I'm Scott Garibay. So I have this incredibly unique view on Dungeons and Dragons. I don't believe that Dungeons and Dragons is a game. I believe that Dungeons and Dragons is a human improvement engine built and disguised by Gary Gygax specifically with the intention of fixing every human being, fixing the dungeon master, fixing all the players, and then they go out to the world and they use their charisma, confidence, and intelligence, which Dungeons and Dragons is a incredibly powerful natural filter for, and that basically, and then they go out and they fix the rest of the world for what Dungeons and Dragons, those players and that dungeon master fix the rest of the world. I believe that aspect of the game being subverted and not functioning as a game, but the reality of the game being the game, air quotes, because that's how people process it and how people think about it. That the reality is it is a human improvement engine. So I believe this has happened to Daggerheart, and I don't believe that Daggerheart is actually a game. I think it's something far more powerful. I believe it's a human improvement engine. So first of all, I understand the ramifications that are pretty huge. So let's talk about it. So one, how could that possibly have happened? That's a very legitimate question. So was this because Spencer Stark did this? Well, first of all, I owe Spencer Stark an apology, right? So Spencer Stark, I have said that you are a garbage tabletop role-playing designer. The reason why I said that was you made Candela Obscura. I will say this. Candela Obscura is garbage. Absolute garbage. That is a terrible tabletop role-playing game that I want to say it shouldn't exist, but the reality is I think it was like a colonic that got you ready to do. I think Candela Obscura was like a colonic that got Spencer Stark ready to deliver awesome in Daggerheart, and Daggerheart is amazing. So one, Spencer Stark, you're not a garbage TTRPG designer. You are an amazing TTRPG designer, but that was hidden by your first effort. And I think you did games before Candela Obscura, but the world found you when you did Candela Obscura, so let's not pretend. So basically at this point, you get to the point where you then are dealing with Daggerheart, right? And so how did Daggerheart become a human improvement engine and not a game, right? Well, it was copying Gary Gygax. Gary Gygax made Dungeons and Dragons, in my humble opinion, as a human improvement engine. He disguised it and why would he disguise it, right? Well, self-help books suck. You want to know how I'm right about that? Go to any Barnes and Noble. They don't even call them self-help books anymore. They call them self-transformation, right? They have to hide the title because people are just like, oh, I don't want to. People don't go into the section because they're like, oh, well, I don't really want to buy a book to tell people how to fix myself, because then I literally tell everybody I'm carrying the book in front of that I'm broken in this weird way. And it's just terrible, right? And then there's the couch scribblers, and nobody wants to pay somebody $200 to ask a question and then get a question back about your mother. Like the ways that we improve ourselves as humans are completely fundamentally broken or completely fundamentally taken over by a profit agenda, right? So Gary's like, I want to make something that's free to everyone, that everyone could use to fix themselves as humans, and then those humans will fix the world, right? So Spencer Stark copied that. Oh, you sure, Scott? Yeah, I'm sure. It's right in the touchstones. He's like, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. Gary Gygax's Dungeons and Dragons is exactly what I copied, right? Like, yeah. So like, it's not like, oh, I wonder if Scott's right. It's right there. It's in the book, right? Like he literally copied Dungeons and Dragons. We don't need to wonder this. It's listed in the book, right? And so basically, if you copy Gary's legacy and you copy his work, guess what? He's going to infiltrate your work, right? He's going to infiltrate your art. He's going to own your art. And that's exactly what happened. Now, first of all, wait, Scott, you got to put up some receipts, right? You like, can you possibly show me where in Candela Obscura, where in Daggerheart the human improvement engine part is? Well, first of all, I've found it already. I found one specific space where it exists. Now, and I'm convinced as I continue to explore the book that it's in a lot of other places, right? But I found one where I'm like, whoa, that's it. It's definitely here. Okay, so what is it? It's the death move, okay? It's the death moves. So there's one page. It exists, and it only, the text is half a page, and it has an amazing piece of art on the bottom where a clank is shoving a magical sword through the belly of a fungal, and that fungal's belly has exploded, and they're going to die, right? They're not going to live, right? And so that's the bottom half of the page, and that's not a small thing. Like, Spencer Stark is like, you're going to die in this game, right? Like, and that. So one, talking about people's mortality, this ain't Call of Duty. Like, this is players engaged and actual decisions being made, right? And so so this is really, and you don't get these kind of questions, and this is my entire point, right? Like, first there were novels, right? And then there were plays, and plays were incredibly personal, and the most intelligent and the most charismatic, confident, intelligent people in the world went to plays. What Gary built was 100 times more powerful than a play. It's like a personal narrative, and there's nothing like it in the world. Gary completely transformed how humans interact with narrative and identity, okay? And that has now infiltrated Spencer Stark's game. I don't think I guarantee you when Spencer Stark listens to this video, he will then be aware of how Gary infiltrated his game when he copied his legacy and his art, okay? All right, okay. So where is it? Where is this thing that transforms Daggerheart severs its connection to being a game and completely transforms it into a human improvement engine? Well, it is the death page. So you have the art on the bottom, and then you have the text on the top, and it says death moves, right? And then right at the top, it says blaze of glory. And this is fascinating. This does not exist. So Daggerheart is not a D&D clone, right? There are huge risks that this book took that D&D would never touch. Just doesn't have the stones to take, right? Like, and this is one of them. All right, get this. Blaze of glory. So when you take killing damage in Daggerheart, you can say, I take it. You don't make a death save. You're just like, yeah, I'm going to die. I'm going to die right now. Me as the player, I'm saying that this second identity, which you call a player character, I'm going to self-delete this player character. I'm going to self-delete this second identity, right? This iterative identity, right? Part of me has been poured into this, but I'm going to sever it from life, right? That's huge. No role, literally the decision of the player to say, I am choosing to take this second identity and have it die, right? No role. That is a decision to die. That is deeper than anything you will find in D&D. D&D has nothing like that, right? And frankly, the ramifications of this are massive, right? We as a culture, like Dr. Kevorkian, there was this question, hey, should we have the right to self-delete, right? Massive question. And Spencer Stark just answered it. The answer is yes. He's saying yes, absolutely, right? Right, and that's huge. There are ramifications that are massive, right? And so I believe that anyone who plays Daggerheart to the point of receiving a killing wound, right? And where could this happen, right? This could happen at a Kenshin table, at a convention table, at a Kodo table, right? Okay, let me explain this, right? Alignment was on the first Dungeons and Dragons sheet. That question of alignment had nothing to do with the player character. It was asking the player, are you good or evil? That's a huge question, right? Like, that is a fundamental. You don't walk away from the table unchanged. Nothing, no movie or show is going to ask you, are you a good person? Or are you an evil person? And Gary shattered that. He shattered the fourth wall and was like, hey, this isn't about player characters. I want to know, are you a good person or are you an evil person? And Spencer Stark is like, hey, are you going to clutch to this life or are you going to clutch to glory, right? When the moment arrives and you can sever your existence to help others, will you do it, right? And I believe that anyone who plays Daggerheart and they receive killing damage has now been asked a question about death that is more profound than I would be asked on any given Sunday in my evangelical Christian church, right? Like that's huge, right? Well, actually, no. Actually, that's not correct. On any given Sunday when they didn't do an altar call is bigger than what Spencer Stark did, right? Okay. So, like, this is huge. And in my humble opinion, Daggerheart is absolutely not a game. It is the second human improvement engine, right? And the reason why is Gary, using his powerful ghost legacy, has fully infiltrated Spencer Stark's art, because Spencer Stark poured Gary's legacy into it and poured his art into it. Not copying it, but just attempting to homage it, right? But the pour was too thick, right? The pour was too voluminous, right? Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Absolutely nothing more and absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.